Well, hello, and welcome to part 17 of developing a graphical user interface using Lazarus and free Pascal. Well, today we're going to continue on with the functionality of login and creating, adding, deleting users and administrators on our application. Now we've already in the last part 16, we finished off the user change function by making some corrections and changes, and then we created the user delete functionality. So that's all finished. So you can, and it's for an administrator. An administrator can add, change, and delete at other administrators himself, and he can also create, change, and delete regular users. So, and we only have two types of user. That's just an administrator and then a standard user. And administrators will have a little bit more capability than a regular user has. And of course, that's entirely up to whoever's writing this application. You can give users and administrators whatever access to whatever functionality you want. So today, part 17, we're going to add the functionality that allows a user to change his own password. And that's what we're going to do today. So when we left off, we were working on the delete function. That's all complete. And let's, there was one other thing I want to bring up. You notice when, you notice that little hint box that pops up when my mouse pointer drags onto various things. I'll give you a better example of this and how annoying it is. Okay, now I'm in the main application window, and when I go to the window, if I go to files here, a box will pop up, right? And that box can be very annoying. See how that box keeps popping up on my screen? And if I go down here and I want to select something, I can't see what I'm selecting. So let's get rid of that. Now, you don't have to get rid of it. I mean, if that provides you some extra aid in your coding, by all means, leave it on. But for me, I just find it annoying because it really doesn't give me any information that I really need. So let's get rid of it. To get rid of it, you would go into Tools, and you would select Options, and then in Options, you're in the Environment selection, and then you go down and you pick the Form Editor. That's this. In the Form Editor, you go to Show Designer Hints, and you turn it off. And then you click Apply and OK. And now, when I drag my pointer over various things here, those no longer are popping up. That got rid of that thing. Okay, so now we're in our application, and when we click Files, we have Set Path, and then we have Users. When we slide onto Users, that brings up this little pop-up menu which has Add, Change, and Delete. So one of the things I want to change here is the caption for users, I just want to make it user. Okay? So I can do that by coming over to our object inspector, and you see this, move down here. Okay. You see how we have this item here and it says menu users? If I select that, that allows me to look at the properties. And you see that currently the caption is users. And I want to change that to user. So all I have to do is delete the S, right? And hit enter. And now if I go into files, I got to select my form. If I go into files, and now it says user instead of users. I'm doing that because when a regular user logs into this application, I'm going to give him the ability to make changes. So we'll see how that works. All right. And we could probably do that right now. Let's see what it'll take to do that. So let me hit F12. It's Shift F12, isn't it? 12? Oh, come on, Larry. Yeah, I thought it was just hitting F12. You just can't have the menu stuff being displayed. You have to be back to the form. All right. Well, you can see we've already made a change. When we changed users to user, that made a modification to the code. So we can Control S and just save that right now. All right. So when we do let's see, where do we enable and disable? Here's where we do it. Here's where, when the form is shown, we test to see what the user's access is, and if it's a U, then if it's just a user, then we disable set path and users. Well, we're not going to want to do that. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to not change this, because they're going to have the ability to make changes. Okay? So what we want to do is leave this menu users enabled. So we're not going to mess with that. And we're going to change menu users add to false. And we're going to change menu users delete. And I misspelled delete, didn't I? I'm going to have to fix that too. Menu users, and that's going to have to be delete. Darn it. Yeah, that's not right. It's supposed to be delete. I left an E out. Okay, we fixed that. Now it's delete. So now it's going to say menu users delete. Menu users delete. And it's enabled is equal to false. Like that, right? Okay. actually, that's okay. I think that's okay. Well, we can test this. We can test this. Now, when a user change is clicked, we're going to do something different here. Okay, let me Control S and save what we've changed so far. Now let's go to our form and take a look at it. Okay, and we have user, add, change, and delete. Add and change are only available to administrators. Add and delete are only available to administrators. Change, in some form or another, is available to everybody, administrators and users. Now, when an administrator clicks it, he's going to get the window that displayed that we designed for the administrator, allowing him to change any user. But when a user, a person with user authority, clicks change, we want a window that allows only him to make a change to his own password. That's the idea. All right. So if I click this, it takes us to the procedure that currently exists, and that procedure at this point in time only executes the user's change functionality. That brings up the user change window. It does a show modal and executes that code. This is going to have to change. All right? That's only for an administrator. So you would say if, and let's go back up here, if, let's just take this code, if for logon access, okay, Control C, I'm going to copy this, and we're coming down here to our new code. We're going to do a Control V to insert it. And this time, it's not if it's a user, it's if an administrator. If an administrator, then, and it's not going to have a begin because it's just one statement. Then we're going to do this. We don't need a colon, semicolon at the end because it's not the end of this if, right? That. Else, we're going to do something else. Now, we haven't figured out what we're going to do there yet, but we are going to do something else. I guess we're going to have a form that says user change, not users. How about that idea? Yeah, let's do that. We're going to have FRM user change dot show modal. Now this doesn't exist yet, so it's going to have a problem with that, but it will exist. Okay, so let's just save that. Now we're going to create we're going to have a new form. So we're going to go over here and we're going to say new form. And here's our new form. And let's just drag it over here temporarily. And then we're going to go over to users. Well, I guess we could just design this outright without, well, it would be nice to be able to use some of the stuff that we already made. Oh, okay. That brings up. Okay, that's interesting. I was going to think, well, we'll have to type. We've already done all the stuff to find this user, haven't we? We did it at logon. F12 here. And go over to unit logon. This is where we log in. If you want to look at the form, this is the form, the login form. So when this happens, we do all that work. We go out into the file, we find everything, we match the user ID, we check that the password generates the correct MD5 hash value, we compare them, we do all that work. So we've gathered all the information. Here's where we say if the MD5 hash that we've computed matches the one that's in the record, then we've got a good match, and all this happens, right? And this username and user ID and user access, those are made available as public from the form. Here they are, user ID, name, and access. Why don't we put the record number and the MD5 in here, and then that's all readily available when the user wants to make a change. I think that would be a good idea. Yeah. So let's put in here user record, and that's an integer. And we don't store the password, but we do store the name, and now we can store the user MD5. Oops, MD5, and that's a string, right? So we've added user record and user MD5. How can we save those? User record. Okay. Well, here's IREC no. We're one beyond what we've read. So we're going to have, in here we'll put in user record is equal to IREC no minus 1, and the user MD5 is going to be set equal to user rec dot user MD5. Okay. And now I think we have everything we need. Okay. This will all be passed in the form. So a lot of the stuff that user logon does, we're going to be able to use. So let's save these changes to user logon, Control S. And let's go to our new unit here. Okay. We need to design our form at this point, don't we? So let's go back to the blank form. pull it over here. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to take some of the things we have in user logon. Let's take some of the stuff on that form. I'm just going to grab these two items here. Hit Control C to copy them. Okay. Then I'm going to go over to our new unit and F12 and select this form. I just clicked on it. And I'm going to hit Control V, and that copied those two items in. Now, what name did it give it? Okay, see, it used the same label that was on the other form. Okay, this form, I just clicked on the form. The caption for this form is going to be user, let's see, it's my application. User change password. That's what that's going to be called. And we need to make this a little bigger, don't we? Okay. There we go. And we can display the users. Let's just take these, pull them down over here a little bit. And let's take this and going to Control C, we're going to copy it. And then I'm going to click the form and hit Control V, and I'm going to drag it up here. And this caption in this label is going to be user name. Okay. And so hit enter. And the name of this is now user name. Okay. And this is going to be one of those panels that you can't. So we can grab a panel, plop it on our form, and they're not the same size, right? Now username, is that auto size? No. Is panel auto size? Panel auto size? No, it's not auto size. So we could try to align it by hand. And we did it. The height's now the same as this. You can see the alignment bars are both on. So we're good there. The characteristics of panel we want it to not be center aligned. We want it aligned left. So we just changed that. We want the panel to have borders. So the border style is currently none. We want to change that to be single. Okay. We want the color. We want the color to be changed to white. So go up here and find white. Okay, it's starting to look like almost like an edit box, right? It's getting close. So we might drag that just a little bit. I'm sure 24 characters will fit in there though. Okay. Now, we are going to have user ID. So we can just drag this up here, and they're not going to be able to change their user ID. Oh, let's call this panel username. So let's give this name to that panel first. So this is going to be panel, PNL user name. Okay. All right. And currently that has a caption. We're going to get rid of that caption. It's going to be blank. Delete that, hit enter. Now we can copy this. See, so we select it, we do copy, select the form, paste, and then drag that down here. Okay, and now we're going to give that a name, and that's going to be panel, right here, panel, and that's going to be user ID. Oh, ID, okay, that's panel user ID. And I'm going to drag this down a bit because we're going to need a little bit more room. Now, all right. Is this edit box the same height? Yes. So, I guess these are not exactly lined. There we go. Now they're all lined up. Okay. Now, we're going to have to type in new password. And then we're going to have to confirm new password. So let's just take this box. Let's copy it. Let's paste it. Let's drag it over here. And this is the text for this box is going to be, the caption is going to be new password. New password. Like that. Your box is not long enough. Typically you make your box about 30% longer than what the current text is in it. That usually, so if for some reason it inherits a different, like if I'm using this, I'm designing this on Linux, right? But if I switch to Windows, the font that Windows may use may be slightly wider. And so this extra thing here gives it a chance to grow in because we're not using auto size. Okay. All right. So now let's drag this out so it's the same width. There we go. Oh, and what was the name of that? That's label something. Name, label user ID 1. No, that's not it. That's going to be label new, oops, password. Okay. Takes care of that. Now, this is going to be, the name of it is going to be edit new password. Okay. Alrighty, and we can actually take both of these. We can take this, hold the shift key, hit that, do a right click, say copy, select the form by clicking on it, then right click and click paste. And now we can drag these. And this is going to be, and we're going to have to make that a little wider, I think. And this caption is going to say, confirm new password, right? Yes. So hit enter for that. And this box is going to be edit. Edit. Right here we are. Okay, knock the one off the end, come back over here, and put the word confirm in. Confirm. Hit end, enter, there we go. Confirm new password, named, edit, confirm new password. The box is, we're all set. Now, if someone has logged in and walks away, and another person comes up, they could go into this window and they could just make this change, couldn't they? That's not a good idea. So we're going to have another one, another thing like this. So we're going to highlight that, shift, click on this, we're going to right click, we're going to say copy, click on the form, right click, click paste, and now we're going to have, this is going to say current password. So the caption will be current password. All right, hit enter. And this label name is now current password. Label current password. Okay, and this edit box is now going to be edit. Get rid of the one on the end. Come back. And it's going to be edit current password, right? Edit current password. Okay, that's what this is. So the way this works is, when this screen comes up, it's going to fill in the name, the ID from that logon form. Remember, we went into logon and we added username, user ID, and we also added the MD5. That was the original MD5. So what they will do is they will put in the new password, and that will not echo characters, normal characters. That will be EM password. So will this one. That will also be EM password. Okay. And this will also be EM password. None of these will echo. You won't see them. But what will happen is they'll put in the new password, then they will put it in again. They will have to confirm, and then they will put in the current password. So that means if someone walks over to their workstation and brings up user change, if the other user walked away and left, and didn't log out, then this prevents another user from walking over to that vacated workstation and changing his password. He has to know the current password. So that kind of puts the whammy on that. And finally, we need a button, don't we? We got to have a button because we have to execute the change. So let's click a button and let's put it on the form, and the button's just going to say change. That's about centered approximately. You can actually, I think you can, if I take, let's see, if I just right clicked on that button and I can hit a line, I can horizontally center. Click change, click OK. Yeah, it didn't move it, so I guess we're centered. And the caption for our button is going to be change, or I could say save. Well, he's making a change. Let's call it, and let's do it all in caps, change. Okay, it's our change button. And if we come down here to the name, we're going to call this button change. I think that's it. All right. So administrators will never see this window, okay? Only users. All right. I guess we can go in here and just grab all this and move it around a little bit. Center. Okay, now it's centered in the window. Okay, so there's our form. Now we have to hook up all the logic. So if I just click on the form and I come to events, we want on show because something is going to happen. Okay, here's on show. So when this form is shown, what are we going to do? Well, we need a uses clause, don't we? We need a uses clause because this uses unit logon. And in unit logon, we have the record number, we have the 5, the name, the ID. So we're going to use the username and the user ID. And let's look at our form. And this is username, panel username, right? Panel username and panel user ID. So let's go here. So we're going to say on form show home tab, so panel username, and it's a caption, is equal to form logon dot, and that's going to be username. There we go. So that will populate that. And then we got panel user ID caption is equal to form log on dot, and that's going to be user ID. Those will be filled in. Alrighty. What do we call the form? Our form is user change. Let's see here. Yeah, we haven't named this form yet. So the form name is going to be FRM user change. Okay. And the unit will be called it's going to be user change. Now it's only a letter different. Okay. We have a user's change and we have a user change. All right. I guess I could say unit. Nah, I'm going to leave it U. U user change. All right, that's the way it's going to be. Okay. What if we save all this? Save it. And I'm going to say yes, save that. And it's going to say, wait a minute. And this is going to be user change. Right. Okay. Alrighty, we're cruising right along here. So we're in user change. And we have it so that when the form is shown, it's going to display the current user's name and ID. That's the one that's logged in. Okay. And so those are displayed, and it will be on new password. And we're going to go ahead and clear those. Yeah, we're going to make sure that they're empty. So we're going to have edit new password dot text is equal to empty. And then we're going to have edit confirm new password. Oops. Word. That's text. That's going to be empty. And then we're going to have edit current password. Text is empty. All right. And then we're going to set focus on edit and that's going to be a set focus like that. And the it just automatically exits from that function, so, or procedure. All right. Let's Control S that. I think our tab order is going to be okay. We can check that. Let's just make sure our tab order. So we click on the form, on a blank area of the form. Then we right click on it and we look at tab order. We click this. And here's our tab order edit box. So these don't get oh, that's not right, is it? Okay, so we have to pick that. Move that down. Okay. Then it's confirm new password, current password, and button change. That's the correct tab order. So we actually did fix something there. And I don't, this is the order, but they never do get visited. You know, we could actually take this and put it at the very bottom. And we could take this and we could move it down to the very bottom since they never get visited. Yeah. I think this makes more sense right here. Okay. All right. So it's a good thing we checked that. Could have been an issue, I guess. All right. So these are displayed. We get to this one. The user enters. Now, he enters this. When do we, so we need to do password evaluation because they have to comply with our password rules. So what event in these boxes would well, when we exit this box, we could check it. You know what? I think we're just going to do it when we click change. When they click the change button, it will evaluate the passwords. It will make sure that the confirming one matches the new one. And that the current password's correct. I think I'll just have it all done when this thing is clicked. It's the simplest and easiest way to do it. Yeah. We're just going to do it there. So on change, events, on click, bingo. Here's where we're going to do everything. Everything's going to happen in here. So the first thing we're going to do is check if new password conforms to password rules. Okay. And then check if confirm new password matches math matches the new password. Okay, and then check if current password is correct. And then finally, okay, does that make sense? We'll check the new password to see if it conforms to the password rules. And I keep things accurate here. Correct. So that happens. And if the confirming password matches the new one, well, obviously it conforms to password rules by default. And then if it matches, we're in good shape. And then we check to see that the current password that they've entered is correct. And once we know that's true, then we can overwrite the old record with the new one. I think that makes perfect sense. All right, so how are we going to do that? So we're going to have an if. And we did evaluation when we, here's the evaluator right here. Here's the unit that evaluates them. And you just pass it a string, and it returns an integer. And if it's 0, it's invalid. What if it's valid? What does it return if it's valid? It returns what? 31, I believe, doesn't it? Value derived if it's a good password. 31. So, yeah, so we're going to do a password eval. All right, so user change. Here we go. So we've got a constant, and it's valid password, and it's an integer equal to 31. Okay, and now we've got variables, and we've got and this is going to be istat, and istat, and it's an integer. Okay, and we're going to say actually we don't need that. We'll say if, and what's the function call again? Password eval. Okay, so if password eval of, oh, and we have to reference it in our uses clause. So we've got U password eval. Okay. Here we go. Now does that work? Yes. Okay, and we're going to pass it edit new password, edit new password, right? If that is equal, okay, we're going to make this, we're going to invert it, but we're going to have valid password. Alrighty, if that's equal to valid password, then we're going to do something, but we're going to not this. I'm going to say not. So in other words, if it's not equal to a valid password, then we're going to do something. We're going to then begin something. It didn't put in the end for us. I don't know why it doesn't do that. But we'll put the end in. Okay. And now what we're going to do, we're going to have to put out a dialogue, right? So we're back to that old message dialogue thing. And we're going to have a caption, which is in, got to put that in the single quotes. So this is going to say invalid password, invalid new password. Okay. And then we're going to have the dialog type, and this is an empty error. And we're going to have oh, we didn't put the message in. The message is the message is a string, and it is password eval message. All right. This is where I should have used status. This is where I should have used status. Okay. Here, we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to say istat is equal to this. I'm going to shift delete that, come up, and hit shift insert. Okay. And then down here, we're going to say istat. Okay. And then here, okay, and let's see. So it's caption and message. So right here, we got to have the message. Then comes the dialog type. So we're missing this thing right here. And our message is actually generated by one of the password eval function. It's generated by password eval message, and you pass it whatever error code came back. So that's what we're going to do. In fact, I can just grab this, hit Control C, and then go back to our code, and we're right in here, right? We're right in here. So I'm going to do a shift insert, and then I'm just going to pass it istat. And now that will generate a message based on what is missing or what is wrong. Okay, that's what that will do. Empty error. And I think that was the next thing, right? Was the type. Go back here. I just trigger it. There we go. So it's caption, string. That's the string. Then the next thing is the dialogue type. And we know it's empty error from previous history. I'm going to wrap this down on the next line here. Okay. And then it's going to be the message buttons. Well, the only button we're going to give it is OK. Or we can give it cancel. Message button. Cancel. I'm just going to say OK. That. And then it's the help. Then it's just long int. Yeah, it's just a long int, so I just give it 0. All right. And we don't care what it looks like. We don't care that it's passing back data. We ignore it. And then we would focus on edit new password. Set that focus. Right. Right. And we'll exit. All right. Okay, and now we're on to confirming that they match. So if not, edit new password, text equals edit confirm new password, text. If that's not true, then begin. Gotta have an end. That's gotta be the word not. Okay. Have a message dialog. And the message dialog is wow. Password not confirmed. And then the message is new password and confirming password do not match. And we're going to put this on the next line. And put a comma after it. And the next thing is the dialog type. And it's an empty error. And the button is OK. And 0, and we're done with that. comes back. So we're going to do an edit, confirm, new password, dot, set focus, and exit. Okay, took care of that one. And now we're going to check that the current password is correct. How do we do that? Okay. Well, we're going to generate the MD5 hash. Just like we did in user logon. Excuse me. Okay. Find the matching one. Okay, it found the matching one. Where did it compute it? Oh, right here. Here's where it MD5 hash. So we need MD5 in our uses clause. Right here, in here. Go up to the top and wrap it. Got to add the MD5 functionality. Okay. And right in here, let's take a look at logon again. And here's where we calculate it. So now let's just take that line and Control C and move to our code. And in here we're going to just stick it in here temporarily. Shift insert. And let's go back to logon. So we need an MD5 string in our function. Okay, Control C. And move back to change and put that up here in our variables. Like that. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Here's where we're going to compute it. This is edit current password, is it not? Yes. Yep. See if that's right. Yeah, edit current password. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So we're going to take the edit user ID. Oh, that's panel user ID. We don't allow. That's panel. User ID. Caption. That's a panel. That has a caption. So we take that caption right? Take that caption. Yeah. That's what it's called, panel user ID, and it's a caption. Yes, it's caption right here, right? Okay. And we glue them together and we compute the MD5 and make it a printable string and set MD5 hash to it. And then we compare that with the MD5 hash that was read at logon time, which is stored here as user MD5. So what we say is if form logon dot user MD5 equals MD5 hash, is it? Yes. MD5 hash. And what we're going to say is not this. If it's not that, then, oops, then begin. End. Gotta have an end. Alrighty. So if it's not, we've got an error, right? And it's message dialog. And what are we going to say? Here. What are we going to say? This is going to say invalid password. The password entered is not the current user's password. And that takes care of that. Put that on a line by itself. Alrighty. Okay. And we don't care what comes back. What are we going to do? We're just going to set focus. Yeah, we're just going to set focus on edit current password. So we're going to do edit current password. And we're just going to set focus. Oops. Oh, too many S's. Edit current password, set focus, and exit. All right. I better put a thing there. Okay. Now we can rewrite the record because everything seems to be okay. Right? How long have we been going here? Wow. 3 o'clock. I think maybe well, we're going to do file IO. Yep. So we're going to need to use a record, which means I need to insert a type here. This is where we're going to include user record. Right here we do that. Okay, home, and that's Control C. Go back to our function here. Do Control V. Okay. And gonna need it here. So we've got user rec is type user rec. And so here we've got to populate it. And well, his status is active. His user rec dot name is equal to form logon dot username user rec dot user ID is equal to form logon user ID. Okay. User rec dot MD5 is now equal to the new one, MD5 hash. Okay. And user rec access is equal to, fix these up a little bit, that spacing, okay, is equal to, did I store that? I think I did. User access. Okay. So we set the record up, now we have to write it. Now we have to write it. So that would use the same thing that users delete did, because it just writes the record. So right here. Here's how you do a write. Right? And we can actually use all this. Copy that. And push home, shift insert. Okay. So now we're not going to say, oh, yeah, overwrite the old record with the new one. And let's just put a little space here. It's not selected record number. It's the one passed in form logon. So it's form logon dot. We saved the record. So it's user record here. And it's the user rec we defined in here. And that's the correct thing. And we say unsuccessful overwrite. And we say user password change failed. And we use the message from our file. We have to have file IO. We need our file IO defined for this form. So I got to add that. Okay. And then what are we going to do? Oh boy. We're not going to do anything. We don't need to change focus. I think the button will be already focused. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the button will already be focused. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah. Well, that was easy. Copying code makes it pretty easy, doesn't it? So right here, we're just going to say attempt to overwrite the current user record. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're done. I think we can almost test this. Let's see where we were with admin. Admin is okay. We can change our own administrator password is what we can do. You know what? That's okay. Sorry for the long pause and stare at code, but I was just thinking, what if he did not actually change the password? Should we just skip the write? In other words, if the new hash is equal, if the new hash, hash 5. Oh, I didn't calculate the new hash, did I? I calculated the, oh boy, I almost made a big mistake here. I almost made a big mistake here. Yeah, I want to calculate the new MD5 hash, right? I didn't do that. So what I got to do is I got to come up here, grab this, come down here, put that in here, but now I've got to use the new password. Now it works. Now it works. But what if the new hash is the same as the old one? Then I don't need to write anything. He hasn't changed anything. Should I complain? If he didn't change it, should I complain? Check if the new hash equals the previous one. I'm going to say if MD5 hash equals form log on user MD5, what are we going to do? Then what are we going to do? Then what are we going to do? I see what it does. You know, if when you type in begin over here and there's a blank line following it, then it throws the end in for you. But if the next line isn't blank, then it assumes that you're going to include the code that's below it and it doesn't put an end in. That's kind of goofy, if you ask me. Okay. Check if the new MD5 hash equals the previous one. So if it does, what are we going to do? We're going to act like it made the change. Is that what we're going to do? And then here, if we fall through, I guess we're going to say password change successful. And what do we do? I think we close the window. I think we're done. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think we just close. Because we didn't make any change. Okay. Let's save this. Control S. The asterisk will go away. Did. All right, and now is the user change referenced in here? No. So we're going to have to add it. User change. It's been added. Have to wrap that line. Okay. Space there. All right. Okay. Save that. Okay. Oh, did we gotta add our UR file IO to change. We didn't put that up here in the uses clause. That's got to be in here. That's got to be in here. That's got to be in there. And password evals in here. Logon is in here. They're all referenced. Yeah, we did put the MD5 in, yes. You know what? There's probably errors. It's just time to compile and see if we got any errors. Let's just run it. And there are errors, yes. I didn't pass it text. It would help, wouldn't it? We need text. There we go. Let's fix that one. Save it. Run it. Bingo. So we're going to log in as who's a user? Is J Smith a user still? J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in. Ooh. Why am I able to access all of that? Wow. I'm not an administrator. Am I? Am I an administrator? Oh, he's an administrator. Do I have just a regular user? Guess what? I'm going to make him a regular user. Oh. Yeah, we'll fix that. It's just, we're not changing it. It's just J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. The password and confirming password don't match. Oh, really? Now let's see, try it again. J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. Tab. J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it again. Did it. Okay. So J Smith is now John Smith is now a user. I'm gonna log out. J underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. Log on. Files. Okay. So he can't add. He cannot delete. He can change. And we're going to make his new password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, better write that down here. All right. So his new password is J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got to confirm it. J Smith. Okay, let's goof it up and not confirm it properly. 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't do that right. Shoot. Let's. Oh, that's right. Okay. And give it the. What are we going to do here? J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to give it the correct current password, and I'm going to give it the incorrect. The new password and the confirming password don't match. New password and confirming password do not match. So it takes me to the confirming password, and now I'll put the 5 in. Now they do match, and now I'll give it an incorrect current password. Take the 4 off and hit change. Invalid password. The password entered is not the current user's password, so that works. Okay, so I'll put the 4 back in. Check, we cannot get into panels and change them, so that's good. This change should now take effect. I'm still logged in. Should it have forced me to log out? Is the question. I don't think so. Let's log out. And now see if we can log in with the new password. J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And log in. Ooh. Not letting me log in. I wonder if I gave it the wrong record number. I wonder. When I say user record, no, I gave it the right record number. What did I do? What did I do? Try it again. See if I can log in. So it's J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I must have miskeyed it. It did take. Okay. Fat finger. Yeah, fat finger. So it let me log him in, and he can do changes. He only can change himself. All right. Well, that's it. We did it. So that's where we're going to stop for today. This is probably way too long. So hopefully, if you learned something new today, you'll give me a like. And if you enjoy this content and would like to see more of it, please subscribe. And if you have any comments about the code or anything else, please leave a comment. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Have a great day.